If you ever visiting place like Senso-ji Temple in Tokyo, this pair consists of agyo and ugyo, signifies the beginning of things, while signifies the end.
皆さん、こんにちは、ケンです。今回もニオ2のストーリーに沿って、知るとゲームが10倍楽しくなる歴史を解説します。今回は織田信長の義理の父である美濃のマムシこと斎藤道さんが登場します。ゲームの演出に隠された深い意味も解き明かしていくので、最後までお見逃しなく。それでは Let's start.
Now, if we dig deeply into the history and lore, these are several highly interesting visuals in this opening cutscene. The first in the Nioh stars show right at the beginning. These stars represent the very title of this game, Nioh. Originally, the Nioh Kongo Rikishi are guardian deities that protect Buddhist temples from enemies, and they are almost always present in pairs. You might recognize them if you ever visiting place like Senso-ji Temple in Tokyo. This pair consists of agyo and ugyo, signifies the beginning of things, while signifies the end. In other words, these two statues together represent the entire universe and everything in existence. So, what is this game title? Nioh is likely because our protagonist witnessed the beginning and end of a turbulent era firsthand, defending our enemy in their path. This fierce and heroic effort are truly like Nioh. Knowing this background really shows you just how important the protagonist's role is down it. Next, let's focus on the scene where Saitō Dōsan is talking with Kicho. This is a brilliant piece of the storytelling that perfectly showcases Dōsan's rebellious and bold nature. During this era, eating meat was highly taboo due to Buddhist influences. Consuming meat in front of the statue of Buddha was something that was normally completely unforgivable. However, this doesn't mean Dosan didn't care about faith. Instead, it was his way of showing a rebellious spirit against the Buddha's hierarchy. The authorities who forced these taboos on people, in fact, Oda Nobunaga, who would later become Dosan's son-in-law, showed this exact same trait. Nobunaga didn't reject gods and Buddhas themselves. Rather, He fiercely opposed the corrupt organization and high-ranking officials of temples and shrines. The two shared a very strong historical connection. Saitō Dōsan formed a marriage alliance with the Oda family, marrying off his daughter, Kicho, to become Nobunaga's official wife. There's a very famous anecdote about this. When Kicho left, Dosan handed her a dagger and said, "If Nobunaga turns out to be the fool of glory that the rumors say he is, stab him with this." However, Dosan ended up being one of the first to recognize Nobunaga's true genius and took a great liking to him. The meat-eating scene in the game might be subtly hinting at this common bond between the two men, who both refused to be bound by existing rulers and shared the same core values. From here, let's look at the unique yokai that appear in this stage, combining history and folklore. First, it helps to understand a traditional Japanese Shinto concept. Nigimitama, the gentle soul, and Aramitama, the wrath soul. Nigimitama represents a peaceful power that brings kindness, harmony, and blessings. On the other hand, Aramitama represents frosty windiness and the fierce power of nature. In this game, the ultimate symbol of the peaceful Nigimitama that heals the player is, of course, our familiar friend, the Kodama. These three spirits are well known from the Ghibli movie Princess Mononoke, but they aren't actually yokai. They are closer to natural spirits. In ancient times, when people shouldered toward mountains or valleys and heard their voice echo back, they believed it was the work of the Kodama. In fact, the Japanese word for echo, Kodama, comes from this. On the flip side, the Sudama, who ask you for items in the game, are also three spirits just like the Kodama. However, they are known for leading people astray. People used to fear that getting lost in the mountains was the works of a Sudama. So, in Nioh 2, Kodama and Sudama are two sides of the same coin. The Kodama is the spirit in its Nigimitama, gentle form, while the Sudama represents its transformation into an Aramitama, love from. By the way, the famous Japanese phrase Yamato Damashi, the Japanese spirit, is said to have its roots in this word. Nigimitama, the idea that the single entity can be gentle or fierce, depending on the situation, reflects the duality of the human mind, which is absolutely fascinating. Next up is a tough enemy, the Ippon-Datara. While these are many legends about this yokai across Japan, let's look at its appearance in the game. The Ippon-Datara in the game has a single leg and one large eye. It is said that this yokai was born from an occupational hazard of ancient blacksmiths, who constantly pumped the bellows with one leg and stand into the fiery furnace with one eye, leading to physical disabilities over time. Alternatively, it's believed to be the falling form of Ame no Hitotsu no Kami, the ancient Japanese god of blacksmiths, who lost his followers and degraded into a yokai. Either way, it's a yokai that carrying the sheer obsession of craftsmen and the sorrow of a forgotten god. And standing in the our way as the boss of this stage is Enenra. Actually, there aren't many classical legends about Enenra. It was originally a fictional yokai crafted by an artist in the Edo period based on the idea of smoke taking the shape of a human. However, in modern games and anime, Enenra has gotten a massive promotion into a powerful boss that controls fire and smoke. Defeating this boss triggers a memorable cutscene. A mysterious woman suddenly attacks the protagonist. She is someone who hunts yokai for a living. This chance encounter will eventually set a massive historical wheel in motion. But that's a story for next time. Finally, we meet a female blacksmith named Toyo. She has an incredibly cool backstory. She is the granddaughter and disciple of Sengoku Muramasa, the legendary master soulsmith, famous for forging the infamous demonic blades keep an eye out for her support moving forward.
それでは今回はここまでです。最後までご視聴ありがとうございました。それではバイバーイ。